What if I told you that no one, not your friends, not your family, not even the person who loves you most, will ever fully understand you? Not because they don't care, but because they literally can't. And strangely enough, that might be the reason you feel so alone. Picture this. You're sitting in a room full of people. The conversation is flowing. Everyone's laughing. Someone tells a story. Someone spills a drink. Someone makes a joke. To anyone watching, everything seems normal. But inside your head, something feels different. You're there, yet somehow, you're not. You feel disconnected, like you're separated from everyone else by an invisible wall. You want someone to notice. You want someone to ask the right question. You want someone to see what's actually happening inside you, but they don't. So you smile, you nod, and the moment passes. Maybe you felt that before. Maybe you felt it dozens of times. You open up to someone. You explain your anxiety. They tell you not to worry. You explain your exhaustion. They tell you to get more sleep. You explain a feeling you've been carrying for years. And somehow, by the end of the conversation, you feel even more misunderstood than when it started. It's frustrating, because the words sounded right, but they didn't carry the weight of what you were trying to say. It's like trying to explain an entire ocean using a glass of water. And that's when the thought appears. Maybe nobody truly understands me. But here's where things get interesting. Because that feeling isn't just in your head. There is a reason for it. A reason so obvious that most people spend their entire lives overlooking it. Right now, you're living inside a reality that nobody else can enter. Think about that for a second. Every memory you've ever had, every heartbreak, every embarrassment, every secret fear, every dream, every conversation you replay at 2 a.m., every moment that shaped you, all of it exists inside your mind. Nobody else has access to it. Nobody. Not completely. Imagine two people looking at the exact same sunset. They see the same sky, the same colors, the same horizon. Yet one person feels peace, the other feels sadness, the third feels nostalgia, the fourth feels nothing at all. The event is identical. The experience is completely different. Why? Because people don't experience reality directly. They experience reality through themselves, through their memories, their beliefs, their fears, their past. In other words, everyone is living inside their own private universe. And here's the strange part. Most of us forget that. We walk around assuming other people see the world the way we do. We assume our feelings are obvious. We assume our struggles are visible. We assume our intentions are clear. But psychology has repeatedly shown something surprising. Human beings are terrible at knowing what other people actually understand about them. You might think your sadness is obvious. Meanwhile, the people around you think you're simply tired. You might think your silence reveals your pain. Meanwhile, everyone else assumes you're fine, not because they're uncaring, because they're trapped inside their own universe too. And that's where things become uncomfortable, because maybe the people around you aren't failing to understand you. Maybe they're doing the best they can with the limited information they have. Think about your own life. How many times have you misunderstood someone? How many times did you assume someone was rude when they were anxious? How many times did you assume someone was distant when they were overwhelmed? How many hidden battles have you completely missed? Probably more than you'd like to admit. We all do it, because we're all trying to solve puzzles with missing pieces. And every person you meet is a puzzle with thousands of pieces. The problem is that most people only show you 10. Maybe that's why loneliness feels so strange. Because loneliness isn't always the absence of people. Sometimes, it's the absence of being seen. Or at least, that's what we think. But here's the twist. What if being fully understood was never actually possible? And what if that's okay? Most people spend their lives searching for someone who will finally get them. The perfect friend, the perfect partner, the perfect soulmate, the person who understands every thought before it's spoken, every emotion before it's explained, every fear before it's confessed. It's a beautiful idea, but it's also a fantasy. Because even if someone spent every day with you for the next 50 years, they would still never know what it feels like to be you. They would know your story, but not your experience. And there's a difference. A huge difference. In fact, there's something even more surprising. The person who understands you least might actually be you. Think about it. How much of your life is spent avoiding your own emotions? How often do you distract yourself? How often do you ignore uncomfortable truths? How often do you tell yourself you're fine when you're clearly not? Most people believe they're strangers to everyone else, but many are strangers to themselves first. And when you don't understand yourself, how can anyone else? This is where everything changes. Because the goal was never perfect understanding. The goal was connection. And those are not the same thing. Connection doesn't require someone to completely understand your experience. It only requires them to genuinely care about it. Think about the people who have made you feel most understood. Were they mind readers? Probably not. Did they always say the perfect thing? Probably not. What made them special was something much simpler. They stayed curious. They listened. They asked questions. They didn't rush to solve you. They tried to know you. And maybe that's the closest thing to understanding that humans can ever achieve. Not certainty, curiosity, not perfect knowledge, effort, not complete understanding, but a willingness to keep trying. Maybe that's why the people who make us feel seen are so rare. They're not the people who know everything about us. They're the people who never stop learning. And maybe that's what you've been looking for all along. Not someone who understands every part of you, but someone willing to explore the parts they don't. Because the truth is, nobody will ever fully understand your story. Not your family, not your friends, not your partner, not even you. But maybe that's what makes every human being so extraordinary. Each person is an entire universe. A universe nobody can completely map. A universe nobody can fully enter. And yet, despite that impossible distance, we keep reaching for each other anyway. We keep telling our stories. We keep trying to understand. We keep building bridges between worlds we'll never completely see. And maybe loneliness isn't proof that something is wrong. Maybe it's proof that you are deeper than words can capture. Maybe the reason nobody fully understands you is because no human being can ever be reduced to an explanation. And maybe the most beautiful thing about being human is this: you will never be completely known, yet somehow, you are still worth knowing.